Republican leaders are panicking as a shock poll has just been released by Ipsos Reuters, showing that only 25 to 27% of Americans or so actually support this unlawful war against Iran. And right now, the top Google searches in the United States are war authorization, Donald Trump's approval. Did Donald Trump get approval of Congress? In addition, by the way, to Epstein. And so now Donald Trump has sent out his MAGA sycophants and stooges to tell the American people that we are not at war. There is no war taking place. What's occurring is just strategic strikes, not war. Now, Donald Trump previously said we're at war. I mean, in one of those bizarre and deranged videos he did at Mar-a-Lago, since he couldn't bother to go to Washington, D.C. when doing this unlawful war, he said, yeah, it is a war. Others in the Trump regimes have referred to it. We're in a war right now, and stop freaking gaslighting us by saying that we're not in a war right now. That's absolutely absurd. So Democratic Congress members have pushed back, and they're working with some Republican Congress members like Thomas Massey and others to force a vote for a war powers resolution to prohibit Donald Trump's war against Iran without congressional approval. I mean, it is already unlawful. And MAGA Mike Johnson and all these MAGA Republicans now are fighting tooth and nail. And they're trying to whip up all of the support amongst every Republican to try to block any attempt to restrain Donald Trump's unlawful war against Iran, where we've already had a number of service members who have been killed and seriously injured. Now, this also comes when Donald Trump has told members of the media like Jonathan Karl at ABC and others that one of the main reasons we've gone to war is because in his paranoia, he says the Ayatollah was going to kill me, so I killed him first. Okay. And also Donald Trump said, expect this war to last many, many, many weeks. And expect, he says, that the Pentagon predictions are that there will be a lot of casualties. A lot of Americans are going to die. A lot of American service members will die. That's what the Pentagon's telling Donald Trump. But what Donald Trump said is, look, it is what it is. Like, this is just what happens in war, and this is what it is, and there will be lots of deaths from American service members. So then you have people like Donald Trump's ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, who's like, in response to the service members who died yesterday, Ambassador Waltz, I hate even to call him an ambassador, he was like, freedom is never free. And then you have other kind of Trump sycophants, Bill Ackman and others are like, this is the most glorious way to die. Dying in Iran is the most glorious form of death. And then you have Lindsey Graham saying, this would be an honor. These are direct quotes. Lindsey Graham's like, it would be an honor for you to die in Iran. This is the highest form of patriotism. And so now we have the Epstein class, Donald Trump and his whole cabal covering up the files, sending our service members to die in a potentially never-ending war that's already spiraling out of control. That's what's actually going on. So I want to bring the receipts for you. I want to share with you what these MAGA Republican Congress members are saying. I want to show you what the Democratic Congress members and senators, MAGA Congress members and senators, Democratic senators and congressmen, what they're saying right now. I want to bring you the receipts. The first data point I want to show you, though, is what Brian Stelter had to say about the Google trends right now, that everybody's searching, for Trump approval. Trump, did he get permission? Play this clip.
Caitlin, if you look at Google Trends data right now for the word Trump, look at the rising searches. You'll see the number one rising search in the last 24 hours is a question. The question is, did Trump get congressional approval? The answer is no. The number one rising search in the last 4 hours, really interesting. It's Trump addresses nation. So in other words, people are literally searching online, looking, trying to find out if the president is addressing the nation. They want to see him explain and justify these strikes. And if you look at the word Trump in just the last hour, the number one rising search in the last hour is Trump approval rating. And of course, all of those searches, they're all related, right? They're all from Americans trying to find out more information about this military effort. We should also keep in mind the Pentagon has severely restricted the flow of information to the press this year. Actually, in the past 14 months, a lot less information coming out of the Pentagon about these strikes as well, Caitlin.
All right, now let me bring for you the other receipts right now. So the first clip I want to show you here is Anna Paulina Luna. And Anna Paulina Luna says the following when she is asked about the war with Iran. Here's what she says. Let's play this clip.
About is that we will not put boots on the ground there, period. Case closed. We will not vote on having a war with Iran because as of right now, according to the plan, which I won't say too much on television, but according to the 3 objectives that this administration outlined, everything is going according to plan.
Now she says the plan is so secret that we're not allowed to know what it is. It's a secretive plan. No one can know, but it's all going according to plan. The hell does that mean? What's the plan? What are the objectives? What are we trying to achieve? What's happening? This was originally about uranium enrichment. Now it's about regime change, but now it's Donald Trump is also saying that actually we don't need to change the regime. This is what, right? Donald Trump said, what we should be doing is very similar to what happened in Venezuela, where someone else in the Maduro regime took over. So Donald Trump saying when it comes to Iran, at this point, we should just have another Ayatollah who was close to Khamenei, Ayatollah Khamenei, find someone there from the Islamic Republic that maybe is a little bit nicer to Donald Trump. That's a direct quote. He says Venezuela is the good template. Okay, more from Anna Paulina Luna here, where she says strategic strikes are not wars. Here, play this clip.
Members, there are multiple wounded. And again, it is not the intention of the U.S. government to invade. That is not what is happening. These are isolated, strategic, large-scale attacks. But again, there are negotiations that will take place, or at least open communication with the White House as soon as the president decides that he is willing or ready to talk. And that has developed in the last couple of hours. So that update will come hopefully later on this evening.
I'm sorry, you say it's not the intention of the U.S. government to invade? Did we not just invade?
We are not invading. Are you seeing boots on the ground there? Because I'm not. And I've been told directly by the State Department and the White House that that's not the intention.
I mean, we just killed the leader of the country. That's not... Okay.
Targeted strategic military strikes and invasions are 2 totally different things, according to military terminology.
They're calling it a war. The president has called it a war.
And targeted airstrikes
strategic strikes, and according to the White House, and I just talked to them and talked to the Secretary of State, strategic strikes are not war.
Really? So if someone bombed America,
do you see boots on the ground?
War? Oh wait, that makes no sense. So you're saying it has to be boots on the ground?
According to your own by definition,
so that's your standard.
The regime of Iran has killed thousands of Americans and murdered them. So by definition, they've already declared war on the United States.
I know. I've had missiles raining down on me too. I know how terrible the Iranian regime is. We are not debating that they are a truly terrible regime. What we're talking about is the standard for the commander-in-chief to commit our sons and daughters in the military to war, and going to war when it is in the national interest, and making that case to America and going to Congress and getting approval for war. So you are saying this is a limited mission that is only bomb strikes, so there is no congressional authorization necessary. How is this different from when Joe Biden bombed the Houthi rebels in Yemen without congressional authorization, and you oppose that?
Now, this is something that was echoed by MAGA Republican Senator and Trump sycophant Mark Wayne Mullen. Wolf Blitzer says, so are you okay with the losses and the fact that if this war drags on and more members of our military die, are you okay with our members of our military dying in a war? And then Mark Wayne Mullen's like, I'm going to have to push back at you, Wolf. We're not at war. This is not a war. Here, play this clip.
In his announcement about this military operation, President Trump warned Americans to prepare for possible troop deaths. If this war drags on for weeks or longer, for that matter, and U.S. casualties mount, are you confident that the American public will consider this a noble mission and tolerate growing U.S. military losses?
Well, first of all, I'm going to push back. This isn't a war. We haven't declared war on Iran. We're not at war with the Iranian people. We had to remove a murderous regime that's been attacking the United States for 47 years. Him and his murderous thugs have killed thousands and murdered thousands of Americans for literally 47 years. You heard the president's announcement. He went through all the attacks that they've had through multiple presidents, and the straw that I would say that broke the camel's back, or the final straw, is we're never going to allow the #1 world sponsor of terror to be able to get a nuclear weapon. There was no doubt that they were building delivery systems to affect our interest and our assets all around that region. There's no question they were trying to develop a weapon that would reach the United States, and at that case, it wouldn't have been a matter of if, it'd be a matter of when. And so after 9/11, America had a resolve that said we will never do this again, meaning never again. We'll never be caught flat-footed. We're going to be proactive and go after those that threaten us. And President Trump finally had the backbone that other presidents haven't to finally try diplomacy, and try diplomacy by saying you're not going to get a nuclear weapon. We're not going to negotiate with you. We're not going to allow you to enrich because you can't be trusted. You're not going to have the nuclear capability. And if you do, then you're going to pay the ultimate price.
And then you have Nancy Mace seeming to say thanks to Donald Trump for the deaths of U.S. soldiers. Here, play this clip.
Right off the bat, your reaction to 3 U.S. service members being killed in the early stages of these combat operations, the president saying their sacrifice was worth it for this greater mission, and he's also preparing the American people maybe for more deaths by saying it's likely more service members could die. What do you make of the first 48 hours or so of this mission, and what questions do you have for the administration moving forward? They're expected to brief you and others in Congress on Tuesday, as I understand it. What's going through your mind tonight?
Well, number one, I want to thank President Trump for his speech today, acknowledging those who sacrificed, these warriors.